Hello, everybody. This is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. Jeannie White is the producer and writes the blog, and I suggest you read the blog for important information. And this podcast is all over social media, Apple, Google, CastBox, Spreaker, and Spotify, and it's free to subscribe. You're going to want to stay tuned, folks, because I have a different type of guest with me today. I am so excited. I met my guest through a podcast Facebook page. My guest is an energy healer, which was really interesting. She is co-host on A Call to Heal Radio, and she's creator and founder of JuliaStubbe.com. And I want to welcome you, Julia Stubbe.
Hi, Betsy.
Julia Stubbe.
Yes, it's an interesting name, and it's been butchered many times. It's like I could tell you stories, but that's okay. We'll pass on that.
That's okay. My maiden name, I have to laugh. We have fun on this show. It's live, unedited. My maiden name is Wurzel. So when my younger brother, got a little more sophisticated, he changed the pronunciation to Wurzel, but people put a T in there and call it Wurzel, but it's Wurzel. So I love being a host of Chatting with Betsy because I just say it like it is, and it just goes and it flows how it's supposed to.
It's organic. It's organic and it's real. And, and it's good to laugh. Laughing raises your vibration. It raises your frequency, and that brings joy. So I think it's good to really find humor in just about anything you can in these days, any day, anyway.
Oh, absolutely. And you being an energy healer, can you tell the listeners what is an energy healer and why do they need one?
Well, I don't like to really refer myself as a healer. I like to refer myself as a facilitator of energy healing, because I don't heal anybody. I just facilitate. I channel healing energy. I work really hard at keeping my vibration and frequency high so that the energies that come through me, the healing energies or information that I facilitate for another person, empower them to heal themselves. So they're always healing themselves. I'm just facilitating and creating the space and giving them the information to do so and assisting them. But I don't heal anybody. So I don't really even like to use the term healer when I describe myself, if that makes any sense.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, that's good, because I saw energy healer, so I was thinking, that's good. I like that you clarified that, so thank you, because it's up to the individual to heal themselves. Right. You just guide them.
Right. Well, and it's like I can read their energy. I can see where the energetic blocks are, or a lot of times the emotional blocks, because like the mind forgets things, because if there's things that we've blocked out of our memory because they were too painful, or they carry something deep as far as this, but our body remembers it. So it creates blocks within our body as far as that goes. So for me to be able to see where those blocks are and possibly what's feeding those blocks, so we can either transmute it or integrate it to allow it to leave, so your body isn't in dis-ease or uncomfortable, because the body does remember everything it does, and that's where a lot of the issues come from.
Yes, I have heard that, and I know with my own body, all the trauma that someone goes through in life, emotional abuse, it could be other kinds of abuse, affects our nervous system, affects our chakras, and causes diseases, illnesses, various problems. And I sometimes wonder, Julia, is that the reason for my migraines? Because nobody else in my family has it but me.
Well, if we go in there, so one of the things, energetically, your headaches are caused by something. So if I energetically look at your head, I see okay, so we're going to go right outside the box right now for all our listeners, just so you know, because it's like I'm going to read Betsy's energy, and it's just the way I see energy. It's not the way it's just the way I see energy. So when I say she's got all this wiring in the back of her head, it's not real wiring. It's just etheric. It's just the way I see the energy, and it's all tangled up. So it's like the back of the neck and into the back of the skull. So we're going to do is we're going to call in your healing team, and we're going to ask them to untangle these wires. Are you ready to let that happen, Betsy?
Sure.
Okay, so and then allow expansion of your cranial. And then we're going to bring just a beautiful, like, liquid balm, BALM, not a boom bomb, but a balm, liquid balm, a real soothing blue balm down through the back of your head. How's that feeling for you? You may or may not feel
good.
Anything. It's okay.
No, it feels good.
So when you get one of those headaches, what you can do is talk to your innate body, which is your smart body, because your mind already has all these programs in it. But your smart body is like ready. It's like, I'm ready. Your innate body. It's like, so when I get a headache like that, I'll say, okay, innate body, can you allow my cranial to expand to be able to process whatever energy is coming through with ease and release the pain? And that starts to really open it up. I'm not saying it's 100%, but 90% of the time that'll take care of my headache as far as that goes when I feel it coming on.
Well, I'll have to try that a lot, and we'll have to make sure that I do that a lot. I want to tell the listeners that I did call into your podcast, and I found it very interesting and amazing. It was just phenomenal.
It's magical. It's a call to heal, and I co-host it with Carolee Schloth, and we're on the BBM Global Network, and we're live on Monday nights. And we facilitate a reading or a healing, however you want to do it, for 3 of our callers, and we read their energy. And then we move energy. And what I love about Carolee and I is that we see things similar. So it's like we confirm each other. So it gives us that spiritual confidence. I mean, it's like we don't always get feedback when we're facilitating a healing session. It's like we might not always get feedback, and it's like, oh, yeah, we see this, and the person's like, mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, is this real? But it's like it confirms, and it really gives that spiritual confidence because we know it's real, but it's always nice to get that feedback as well. But I'm glad you enjoyed calling in. It's like I love. We've been doing the show for over 4 years now, and prior to that, we had a show called The Energetic Toy Box, which I started with on Voice America, and then Carolee became my co-host on that, and then from there A Call to Heal was born, and it's a lot of fun.
It was very enlightening from the other callers that I even listened to the other callers, and I just found it fascinating. And when Carolee was telling me and you, it was like, yes. I mean, this is really, it was just amazing. Julia, what is the number that people can call? Because I want my listening audience to reach out to your podcast to find out about your podcast.
Yeah, our next live show will be September 14th. We have a couple things on the calendar right now, so that we're all the shows that are replayed. But after September 14th and on, we're live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And the number, hold on a second, I had to go get it, is 866-451-1451. And again, that's on the BBM Global Network. And we're also on iHeart, TuneIn, and all those podcast things, places that you mentioned earlier in the show. You can listen to A Call to Heal there too as well. Again, that's 866-451-1451, and that's 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can just listen in also on the BBM Global Network. And if you miss it, you can listen to the replays. There's over 150 shows in our archives to listen to.
And you also have your own YouTube channel, which I thought was amazing. I went on there and to the one meditation that you told me, and then there was another meditation, and I really liked it. So, but to be honest, I forgot the exact name of your YouTube channel. So could you please tell the audience?
It's Julia Stubbe, the Galactic channel, and there's it's a combination of videos with healing processes, which are short meditations or short guided imagery for like clearing, grounding, and shielding, or activating your heart chakra. And then there's also, I also channel light language or star language, which is not in English. It's based on vibration and frequency. And depending on what your vibration and frequency is, it will affect you in different ways. And so there's those processes out there too, which are for those who, want to explore that kind of healing energy, I would say.
And how did you get into doing what you do? That's what I want the audience to know. Like, how did someone get into that?
Okay, well,
I'm fascinated with that.
Well, I've always had, as a child growing up, I was always gifted. So it's like I was clairaudient, so I would hear, and the dead people would come, and I would hear the voices, and I could hear people's, when they were thinking loudly, I could hear that, so I could tell when people were lying. I could tell you when the phone was going to ring, who it was. There's a thing where you hold objects, and I could see things that way. My mother would have people come into the house, and I would have to do readings for them. It's like it was a little exploitive, and it came to a point where I was highly empathic. So it's like I would pick up everybody's energy, everybody's feelings, and so it really physically it took its toll on me because nobody told me how to clear, ground, or shield, which we can talk a little bit about later, but it's really important. So, and my mom was a psychotic alcoholic. And so I grew up, and there's a lot of anger, and I had a lot of healing, and there was a lot of emotional and physical abuse growing up. So I had to deal with that. And when I was in my 30s, I was going to a massage therapist, and she had to have both, because I had been in a car accident in my 20s, and she had to go get her hips replaced. So she sent me to another massage therapist who was also a shamanic healer. And that woman, Ann Pacone, she's out of Reading, Pennsylvania, Pathways to Healing. So if you're up in that area, I recommend that. But she touched my heart chakra, and the pain literally shot through my back and down to my tailbone. And I knew I was in the right place. And that was my journey, my real beginning of journey of healing as far as that goes. So from there, I continued to really release the blocks in my body, the pain that was held in my body. And there's many stories that I could tell you of some where I regressed to my childhood back to when I was like 18 months old. And through the process, literally water filled 3 paper towels in my hands from when I was held underneath the bathtub water and almost died. So my body had been holding on to that for years, many years. And from there, it's like I was working on my journey as healing, and then it's like I took a Reiki class, and that's where I learned, about grounding and shielding and, being able to stay in my body. And then from there, I knew spirit. I would always hear guidance, and I would follow that. And I was guided to go to Omega Institute up in New York, and Stephen Thayer was teaching a course there on integrated energy therapy, and it was the 3 different levels, and I took that because it was about angels, and from there it's like I started facilitating for others, and I've just been working on myself. I've done a lot, taken a lot of modalities, reading a lot of books, but every day I work on clearing stuff. I had an instance actually last night where I had a memory, a childhood memory, and I'm also have had experience with being molested as a child. And I knew of 2 incidents that I worked through, and then this memory kept coming up. And it's like, what was that about? And I said, last night I actually had that. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, that was another instance. And I just laid in my bed and cried and just let all that pain out. So it was me just continuing to clear and keep my channel really clear so that I can connect with Source, so that it enables me to give information to others. If that's a convoluted way to tell you how I got into it, but it's just part of the journey. Is it's really working on the healing journey for myself so that I can empower others to heal themselves.
That's very interesting, and I think the audience can benefit from that. And I have a very large caregiving audience, post and present, and I think they could benefit from your channel, listening to your podcast, getting in touch with you to help facilitate their own healing. Because
right. When you're working,
you need it.
When you're working with your journey, but even as caregivers, and if you're empathic and you pick, I want to talk about grounding, clearing, and shielding. When you're empathic, you pick up the energies of everybody else around you, and you might not even know they're yours. So grounding is where we really connect into the earth, and the reason we ground, and it's energetically, yes, you want to get out in nature, you want to put your bare feet on, but you want to really visualize a connection, so you can visualize yourself as a tree and that you're growing roots into the earth. Or you can visualize you have a 3-prong grounding plug. The prongs are coming out of your feet and your root chakra and just going in and plugging in. And the reason it's important to ground is as you expand your light, you're holding all this energy and you need something to anchor it. If let's just say your power went out, the neighbor's house, and they wanted to plug their generator into your house, would you let them plug it in with a little toaster cord that's not grounded?
Of course not.
Yeah, because it would blow your circuits out. So that's the same way as far as going. So it's the grounding and then clearing. And I'll do a quick little routine then. The clearing is like all the energy you've picked up from the day from everybody else. And it's like maybe you feel heavy, maybe you feel angry, and you don't even know where it's at. It's not even yours. And then the shielding part is to just give your body a boundary of you so you're not getting hit with all this little stuff. So if you're a caregiver, you've had the emotions of the family and your patients, your clients. So we'll just do a quick little thing here. It's like I just want you to visualize yourself under this beautiful blue diamond waterfall. And just imagine all these little diamonds coming down and cutting away all that is not you, clearing all outside entities, all outside influences, all outside programming, allowing you to be you. Just cutting that all away, and then just see, know, or feel, or just imagine, use your imagination and see that blue water just washing all that away, washing it down into the earth, off your body, out of all your fields. And then just visualize yourself in a beautiful egg. It could be any color you want. And extend it out like 3 feet in all directions, and you're in the center of it. You can even extend it out a little further. And it's just a shield just to really block out other energies. And use your imagination. The imagination are the seeds of reality. So you create that in your imagination. You're creating that reality through energy and intent. And that's how it comes. And it's like sometimes I'll pretend I'm in a video game. It's like, well, what kind of shield would work here? And it's like, oh, what does that look like? And I play with the energy. I have a good time with it. I don't take myself too seriously.
I definitely have to start doing that, Julia, because as an empath myself, I do feel other people's energy, and it can be very draining for me. Mm-hmm. During the height of this pandemic, for instance, I'd go to the grocery store, and all of a sudden, I feel so sad. I start crying because I just felt such sadness in the air. Just the energy was just so sad. And I would get depressed, and I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this?
Yeah,
like that.
I do it, and you can do it with intent. Just visualize it in your imagination. You can do it less than a minute. It doesn't take that long. It's just that you have to have your awareness and the intention. And I literally my rule of thumb is, especially when I'm out in public, I do it anytime I open and close a door. I get out of my car. I ground, clear, and shield. I go into a store. I ground, clear, and shield. I go out of the store. I ground, clear, and shield. I come home. I ground, clear, and shield because I've opened the door. So that's how often I do it, because that's how much I need to do it, because it's like you're out there all the time, and it's like you can get on the phone with somebody and you can pick up their energies that way as well. Watching a TV show, watching the news, it can all affect your energetic field, and it's really good to do it on a regular basis, not just once a day, but I actually do it several times a day. And that's what I recommend my clients do as well.
That is very good advice. People who don't believe such people exist, such as people who feel things, empaths, what Julia does, you know, if you don't want to believe that, I mean, that's okay, but I'm telling you, the audience, I understand exactly what Julia is talking about, because when you feel things so deeply and you feel other people's energy, you have to protect yourself. And I heard about that, but you're the first person, Julia, who really explained it in a way that made sense and telling me how to do it.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
And the reason I'm so passionate about it is I really didn't know how to do it for so many years of my life. So I was sick all the time. My body was taking its toll. And until I learned just that simple thing of clearing and shielding and grounding, once I did that, that changed my life, because it's like, wow, I feel good. It doesn't mean I still don't have moments where it's like, oh, what's that? And then it's like, then I use my imagination. It's like, oh, well, I'm just going to take the spiritual shop vac out and just like suck this out with a beautiful violet light, you know, and just see, know, or feel it, and use my imagination and create the reality of it. And I can feel the energy change. So here, Betsy, you ready to feel this? We're going to just use that beautiful violet liquid light, just sucking all the heaviness off of you.
Yes, I could imagine that.
Could you feel the difference in your body a little bit there?
Yes, even just before when you were doing the diamond shielding.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're setting your intent and your imagination, it's like there's no wrong way to do it. It's like, oh, she said to do it this way. Well, if it works for you, if you believe it's going to work, then it will work. If you don't think it's going to work, then you put that doubting energy in, and then probably won't. It probably won't work then either.
Right. I used to think that all this stuff was cuckoo, a little wacky-doo.
Well, I prefer the word woo-woo as opposed to voodoo.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yes, I did until, Julie, I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, but until I really started to understand, why did I feel things so deeply? Why do I have these intuitions? Why do I see things in my dreams and then they happen? Why do I feel a connection with dead people? And
right.
This is why. So I was thinking, if I tell anyone about how I feel, they're going to think I'm a little, what did you say, woo-hoo?
Woo-woo. I prefer woo-woo.
Woo-woo
as opposed, yeah. Yeah,
woo-woo. I mean, yeah.
And that's the whole thing. It's scary because right now with the energies of the planet, there are a lot of people awakening to their gifts, and it's like, and their bodies responding because they're not really looking at what I call the shadow side, or the energy that needs to be integrated with that healing process, because the body's holding on to this. So it's like all this stuff is coming up for them and they don't know what to do with it. So it can be a little scary for people right now. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, especially our generation, it's like, oh, don't you know, that's just your imagination, just keep quiet, zip it. But growing up in it, I still remember there was a time I was doing part-time waitress work, and hear thoughts. I don't read minds. I don't go into your mind. I don't invade that way, but I do hear your thoughts. So if your thoughts are directed to me or they're loud enough, like my son, for instance, it's like when he was younger, it's like he would be in the grocery store and he goes, I'll be right back. And I go, oh, you want to check that magazine about the article on such and such to see if it came out? And he would turn around and he goes, Mom, can you stop doing that? And I said, well, then don't think so loud. But on a personal level with people, it's like I still remember this because it was like I was doing some waitressing part-time when my son was born, just to get out of the house and just to do a little something. And it was after shift, and we were sitting at the bar, and I was having an alcoholic beverage, which I don't recommend for empaths. Just don't recommend it. But we were having a conversation, and we were talking about stuff, and the other waitress, she said something, and then she was talking, and she goes, oh, never mind. But I still heard what her thought was, and I wasn't watching her mouth. And I answered what she said. I said, oh, well, we all think about what would happen if our spouse would die. And she got this look on her face because she didn't say it out loud. And she goes, it's true what they say about you. And I'm like, oh, here we go again, and that I read minds. And it's like, I'm like, I don't really read minds. I just hear thoughts. But it's like then people look at you weird, and people treat you differently. So I get where you're coming from, because our generation, it's like it wasn't, we were weird. We were labeled weird if or there's something, wrong or something, it's like, yeah, that. So I get it. I get that stigma, but now more and more people are awoken. More and more people are coming into their gifts, and they're honoring their gifts. It's about being your authentic self now, and we can support each other with love and compassion for those who are awakening to their gifts, and how to, I love to assist those, to show them different tools they can use to really integrate them better, or have their physical body be able to adapt better. So that's part of the services I offer as well. But anyway, yeah. And I just love to educate and empower people to empower themselves. It's like I share information liberally as far as how to do things for yourself, and to me, it's important. Yes,
I love the work that you are doing, and I would, recommend to anyone listening, contact Julia. Do you do free consultations?
Well, I do an introduction. I do like a 20-minute for, reduced price if somebody's having trouble, but I offer 30-minute and 1-hour sessions. But I do have coming up in October, the next, what I call a group transformation program. And I take anywhere from 5 to 8 people, and we help build your spiritual infrastructure. So there's structure to the group. It's a 5-week, and we do it through freeconferencecall.com, and they're 1-hour sessions, and there's structure to it, but it's also organic. So the group, like the group I'm working with now, it's with 5 women, and there's a underlying that they're not good enough or they can't do it by themselves. So that's one of the things that are coming up. So Spirit works through me to show them the different steps on how to release those false beliefs about themselves and bring in new beliefs. And it's a lot of fun because each group, we have the similar things in each group. This is probably the 7th one that I've run so far. But we also have, it's different for each group. So I never know what Spirit's going to say, okay, well, this group needs this. And it's magical. And it's like from those 5 weeks, it's like from the beginning, give you tools, how to run your energy, clear, and just really empower yourself. So that's coming up. That starts the 1st October and Sunday, and there's a price special where you can save $90 if you register. I think anyway, you'd have to go on the website to see, but it's regularly $267, and it's on sale for $177 for early registration for 5 weeks, 1 hour, and it's a lot of fun, and it's very educational. And it's interactive, so people can ask questions. Like if you have a personal question, I encourage the group to ask questions. Well, how does that work? It's like, I don't really know. And then it's like maybe somebody else in the group didn't want to ask it. So we just address that, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of processes, healing processes that happen. It's like, that's why it's called a transformation program, because it really can really shift and change your life. But then there's personal healing sessions too. But that's the way to go if you're looking to like just get a jump start on things.
Wow, that sounds great. I think, Julia, that people think, oh, I'm the only one who feels I'm not good enough, or I'm the only one who feels this way, when they're not. I think it's really a universal, especially with women. We think, we're not good enough, and we have to flip our beliefs, especially if, we were told growing up, you're not good enough, you're not pretty, you're ugly, you're fat, whatever you were told. It's a story, but we tend to believe those stories. And we need to start our own stories. We need to start healing. And I just realized this really at the age of 60, a couple of years ago, and I started down my road of self-healing and recovery. And it's never too late, folks. It's never too late. You might be thinking, oh, I'm 70 or I'm older than that. It's too late for me. No, it's not. It's not too late. If you're breathing, you're hearing this show, it's not too late.
I have in my group, the group that I have a range from like 20-something to 60-something in the group the group that I'm running now. So it's a wide range of ages as far as it goes, and they support each other. I encourage them to support each other as well. It's like we do. It's like we'll do text strings, and it's like anybody, because we run energy together. I run what we call our Apple Flow or toroidal field energy. I teach them how to do that, and I recommend that they do it every day, or if they're feeling kind of weird, because it helps to clear their fields out. And it's like, just reach out and see if anybody else wants to run energy with you. And you don't even have to be on the phone. You just connect with each other through intent, and you're running your energies together. And it's like, wow, I feel so much better. Thanks for reaching out and doing that with me. And I love how it builds that confidence in each other and confidence in themselves of what's happening. It's pretty magical.
That sounds really interesting. I cannot believe our time is up. Is there anything else you would like to say about the work that you do, Julia?
Well, I just would recommend check out my website, juliastubbe.com. If you want personal sessions, I have 30-minute and 60-minute sessions. Start out with a 30-minute session. See how it makes you feel. And there's a whole page of testimonials. So it's like you can see what other clients are saying. And tune in to A Call to Heal on Monday nights on the BBM Global Network. And again, our next live show will be on the 14th of September if you want to call in. And we'd love to hear from you. I love everybody. It's like I just send love to the planet, and it's like, I just want to facilitating healing for New Earth and her beings. That's what it's all about.
Well, yes, thank you, Julia. I'm so glad we connected, that we met and we connected, and thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for coming on Chatting with Betsy. I appreciate.
Oh, thank you, Betsy. I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do in helping others. Folks, I would definitely check out Julia's show. Okay, that's for free. Go from there. Listen to her show. If you're interested in a counseling session, go for it. Or one of the groups, transformation groups, go on Julia's website, and it will be in the blog. And if you missed any of this show, you can hear it again on the social media outlets. And that's why you need to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, so you don't miss great, informative speakers such as Julia. She is the first energy facilitator that I had on the show. You never know who I'll have on my show. And you know what, folks? In a world where you could be anything, be kind, shine your light brighter than ever, because we need it in this time that we are going through. And I want to thank Julia again, and thank you to Jeannie White, who produces, and for Lillian Caldwell for having this radio station. She's the CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio. And again, this is Betsy Wurzel, host of Chatting with Betsy, Passionate World Talk Radio. Until we chat again, be safe, be blessed. Bye-bye now.